My precious soul, pause everything right now, because what is happening on May 12th is not ordinary. A divine tear has fallen from heaven, and it was not shed without purpose. It was not shed in silence. It was not shed without your name written inside it. On May 12th, something shifted in the unseen realm. A holy vibration moved through the atmosphere, and many did not recognize it. What you did, that is why you are here. That is why this message found you. Not by accident, not by coincidence, but by divine appointment. A tear fell from the eyes of Jesus. Not a tear of weakness, but a tear of urgency. And the tear carried a message. A warning. A call. He is trying to reach you right now. Listen carefully. This is not just another video. This is not just another emotional moment. If you skip this even for 1 second, you may silence a voice that has been trying to reach you for months, maybe even years. The window is small. The spiritual atmosphere is open, but it will not remain open forever. There are only minutes in the spirit realm where destinies are redirected. On May 12th, heaven marked your house. You may have felt something strange recently. A heaviness, a pull, a sudden memory of your past, a dream that felt too real, a whisper in your heart that said, something is about to change. That was not your imagination. That was Jesus knocking. He has been watching the silent battles you never told anyone about. The nights you smiled outside but cried inside. The confusion, the delay, the frustration, the feeling that time is running and nothing is moving. And when his tear fell on May 12th, it carried your pain inside it. But here is the mystery: a divine tear does not fall unless something is about to be restored or removed. This is where many miss the sign. When heaven weeps, it means intervention is near. It means a final call is being extended. It means a door is either about to open wider than ever before a close with finality. You feel the tension, don't you? Because deep inside, you know this message is not random. Something has been trying to distract you lately. More noise, more confusion, more scrolling, more sudden interruptions. It feels like something does not want you to focus. Ask yourself why. Why now? Why today? Because May 12th marked a spiritual timestamp over your life. Jesus is not angry at you. He is not distant. But he is urgent. Here is something you have been delaying. A decision. A separation. A step of obedience. A truth you have been avoiding. But heaven hath been patient. Very patient. But patience is not permanent. His tear was not about punishment. It was about timing. There is a narrow spiritual window hovering over your house right now. And within that window is clarity, protection, direction, and exposure. Yes, exposure. Something hidden around you is about to be revealed. Not to harm you, but to protect you. And this is where Archangel Michael enters the atmosphere. When divine tears fall, warrior angels move. Archangel Michael does not respond to casual emotion. He responds to spiritual decree. And when the tear of Jesus touched the earth on May 12th, a command was released into the heavenly armies. Protection protocols activated. Hidden enemies observed. Spiritual contracts reviewed. You may not see this realm, but it is active around you right now. Here is a reason you suddenly feel watched, not in fear, but in awareness. Here is a reason certain people have started acting differently. There is a reason some connections feel unstable, because light is increasing. And when light increases, shadows panic. Jesus is trying to reach you before something final happens, before a door shuts, before a mistake repeats, before you walk into something that looks right but carries the wrong spirit. This message holds everything because it carries instruction. Within the next cycle of days, you will face a moment that looks small, but it will not be small. It will look like a normal choice, a normal conversation, a normal opportunity. But it will be a test. If you miss the whisper now, you may miss the warning then. That is why you cannot scroll away. That is why this timing matters. On May 12th, a tear fell, but tears water seeds. Something is about to grow. The question is, will it be restoration or consequence? Jesus is reaching for you gently, but clearly. His voice is not loud right now. It is soft, intentional, direct, and you can feel it in your chest as you listen. This is not fear speaking to you. This is mercy racing against time. Archangel Michael is positioned not to frighten you, but to guard your obedience, to stand at the gates of your destiny and ensure that what is not from God cannot cross into your future. But heaven cannot force your attention. It can only invite it. You have less time than you think, not in life, but in alignment. The next 30 minutes in your spiritual awareness matter more than the last 30 days. So breathe. Slow down. Open your spirit. Because what is about to be revealed next will explain why that tear fell and what it means specifically for your house, your relationships, and the decision you have been postponing. The message is unfolding, and this is only the beginning. Beloved listener, what happened in the spirit on May 12th did not stop with a tear. It triggered a review of your timeline. Heaven began examining patterns in your life that you thought were random. Repeated delays, familiar disappointments, cycles that look different on the outside but feel identical on the inside. This is not coincidence. This is a spiritual loop that Jesus is trying to break before it repeats again. There is something you have been tolerating that you were never assigned to carry. A situation that drains you. A connection that confuses you. A voice around you that sounds supportive but subtly plants doubt. You brushed it off. You told yourself you were overthinking. But when the tear fell, clarity was released. And clarity always exposes what comfort tries to hide. Archangel Michael is not just standing guard. He is drawing a boundary. In the unseen realm, lines are being marked around your destiny. Some people will not be able to cross those lines anymore. Some opportunities will suddenly lose access to you. You may notice conversations shifting, invitations slowing down, certain plans dissolving without explanation. Do not panic when this happens. Protection often feels like loss before it feels like peace. There's a reason Jesus is trying to reach you with urgency. Within the next few days, you will sense a pull towards something familiar. It will look safe because it is known. It will feel comfortable because it is predictable. But comfort is not always calling. It is sometimes captivity wearing a friendly face. The divine tear fell because you were seconds away from repeating something heaven already delivered you from. Pause and reflect on this. How many times have you prayed for change but secretly feared the cost of that change? How many times have you asked for elevation but stayed connected to what keeps you grounded in limitation? This is not condemnation. This is awakening. May 12th was a spiritual interruption, and interruptions from heaven are rare. Jesus is not trying to scare you into obedience. He is trying to rescue you into alignment. His tear carried compassion, but it also carried warning. Because if you ignore the whisper now, the lesson later will be louder. Archangel Michael has already moved ahead of you into spaces you have not entered yet. He sees what you do not see. He knows which conversations are traps. He knows which smiles hide strategy. And his assignment right now is simple: protect your future from your present impulses. You may feel restless. That restlessness is not anxiety. It is spiritual repositioning. Something inside you knows that time is compressing. That window we spoke about is narrowing. You cannot afford distraction. Not emotionally. Not spiritually. Not mentally. And this is where your attention becomes sacred. Right now, while you are listening, you are choosing awareness over ignorance. That matters more than you realize. Every second you remain connected to this message, you are resisting something that wants you passive. That is not small. That is spiritual warfare in its quietest form. If this message is speaking directly into your situation, do not stay silent. Let your agreement be known. Like this video as a sign that you receive divine clarity. Share it with someone who hath been on your heart lately. Comment with what you are feeling as you hear this. When you subscribe and stand with this channel, you are not just supporting content. You are aligning yourself with messages that disrupt darkness. Become part of this growing army of awakened souls. There is power in collective agreement. And stay with me, because what is about to unfold next connects directly to a specific area of your life that you have not told anyone about. What is coming will explain the tension in your household and the unusual shift in one particular relationship. There is someone close to you who feels the shift but does not understand it. They sense distance. They sense change. They may even question your recent silence or your new boundaries. Do not let guilt pull you back into old behavior. Growth often feels like betrayal to those who benefited from your stagnation. Jesus is reaching for you because he sees the crossroads ahead. One path keeps peace with people but breaks agreement with your calling. The other path may temporarily disturb comfort but secures your destiny. The tear fell because your choice matters more than you know. Archangel Michael stands where your courage begins. He will not force your decision. But the moment you choose alignment, reinforcement will arrive. Doors will close that needed closing. Truth will surface that needed exposure. Strength will rise in you that you forgot you had. But first, you must remain attentive. Do not rush this process. Do not numb this awareness. Let it sit with you. Let it stretch you. Because the next revelation will uncover why this message feels personal, and why the next sign you see will confirm everything you are sensing right now. Listen closely. The veil is thinning, and what is hidden is preparing to step into light. Chosen vessel, the reason this feels personal is because it is. The divine tear that fell on May 12th was not symbolic. It was targeted. It carried your name, your address, your unfinished prayers, and the silent cry you whispered when no one was watching. Heaven does not release urgency without intention. And right now, intention is circling your life like a spotlight. There is something hidden in your environment that is about to be revealed. Not in chaos, but in clarity. You have sensed it before. A subtle discomfort. A hesitation you could not explain. A feeling that someone around you is not fully aligned with your growth. You dismiss it because you did not want conflict. You chose peace over discernment. But peace without truth is fragile. Jesus is trying to reach you before exposure happens suddenly. He prefers preparation over shock. That is why this message is arriving before the unveiling. There is a conversation coming. There is a truth surfacing. There is a pattern breaking. And when it happens, you must not be surprised. You must be steady. Archangel Michael has been assigned to guard your response, not just your circumstances, your reaction. Because how you respond in the moment of revelation will determine the next season of your life. If you react emotionally, you will delay alignment. If you respond spiritually, you will accelerate destiny. You may soon notice a shift in someone's tone, a confession disguised as a joke, a slip in their consistency. Watch gently, not suspiciously. Discernment is not paranoia. It is protection refined by experience. The tear fell because heaven saw what you could not yet see clearly. There is also something within you that needs release. A compromise you made out of loneliness. A habit you justified out of exhaustion. A fear that kept you silent when you should have spoken. This is not about blaming others. This is about cleansing the ground you stand on. May 12th marked a cleansing point. The divine tear was water, but water washes. Do not resist the discomfort that comes with purification. It is temporary. What remains afterward will be stronger, cleaner, and aligned with your true calling. Jesus is not removing things to leave you empty. He is clearing space to fill you properly. And here is what many do not understand. When heaven prepares to elevate someone, it first isolates them. Not to punish, but to protect it. You may feel alone right now. Conversations feel shallow. Connections feel distant. Invitations feel fewer. This is not rejection. This is refinement. Archangel Michael stands at the edge of your next level, ensuring that only what is assigned to your future can cross over. Some relationships will naturally fade. Some opportunities will quietly dissolve. Let them. Do not chase what is retreating. If it was meant to walk with you into destiny, it would not be pulling away during alignment. There is also a financial and practical dimension to this shift. A decision involving resources, commitments, or long-term planning may arise soon. Do not rush it. The urgency you feel is spiritual, not impulsive. Pray before you sign. Reflect before you agree. Seek confirmation before you commit. Jesus is reaching you now so that regret does not reach you later. And there is something even deeper. The tear that fell was not only about warning, it was about love. There are nights you doubted whether heaven still cared about the details of your life. You questioned whether your small struggles mattered. You wondered if your prayers were too repetitive to be heard. Not a tear does not fall from indifference. It falls from compassion. You matter enough for heaven to interrupt. You matter enough for Archangel Michael to stand guard. You matter enough for this message to find you before the turning point. In the coming days, watch for a subtle confirmation. It may come through a sentence someone speaks unexpectedly. It may come through a dream. It may come through a sudden sense of peace after tension. When it happens, you will remember this moment. Do not harden your heart. Do not dismiss what you feel. Lean in. Because this is the final gentle call before decisive clarity arrives. After this, things will move quickly. Exposure will not wait forever. Opportunity will not linger endlessly. Alignment will either be chosen or postponed. But right now, you still have the grace of awareness. If this message resonates deeply within your spirit, seal it with agreement. Type "I receive the warning" and the mercy in the comments if this is speaking to your heart. Blessing code 5419 has just been released over those who respond in faith. And as this divine tear has watered your ground, understand this: when you sow into light, light multiplies. When you help this message reach another soul, you become part of heaven's rescue plan. Scripture declares, "Cast your bread upon the waters, and it will return to you." This is not charity, It is partnership with purpose. I feel led to say this clearly. When you choose to give through Super Thanks, membership, or the PayPal link in the description, you are not supporting a platform. You are fueling a harvest of awakening. You are placing oil in the lamp so that the flame does not go out. And the Lord says to you, as you pour, I will pour back into you, pressed down and overflowing. Let this act be prophetic. Let it be urgent. Do not hesitate when your spirit nudges you. Those who move in obedience during moments of divine stirring will see accelerated favor. Sow into this mission now. Activate your partnership. Release your seed and watch heaven respond. Faithful heart, what is about to unfold in your life will not look dramatic at first. It will appear subtle, always ordinary. But beneath the surface, foundations are shifting. The tear that fell on May 12th did not just cleanse, it marked a transition point. And transitions are rarely loud. They are quiet rearrangements in the spirit before they become visible realities. You may already feel it. A strange detachment from what once excited you. A new sensitivity to conversations that feel shallow. A growing hunger for something deeper, something real. This is not random dissatisfaction. This is spiritual maturation accelerating. When Jesus tries to reach someone urgently, it is because their environment can no longer support their calling. You have outgrown a space that once felt comfortable, and now that space feels tight, restrictive, heavy. It is not because the space changed. It is because you did. Archangel Michael is actively guarding this growth. There are unseen forces that attempt to pull you back into familiarity. Thoughts that say, maybe you are overthinking. Feelings that whisper, maybe you should just stay where it's easy. But ease is not always destiny. Sometimes ease is the final distraction before delay. Yours a specific memory that may resurface soon. Something from your past that you believed was resolved. It could be a person reaching out. It could be an old opportunity reappearing. It could be an emotion you thought you conquered. When it returns, do not assume it is reconciliation. Sometimes it is revelation. The enemy often tests whether you truly healed by presenting the same temptation in a different package. But this time, you are not the same version of yourself. The tear that fell was also a seal, a mark that says you are no longer available for cycles that drained you. You are no longer aligned with agreements that shrunk you. You are stepping into a version of yourself that requires different conversations, different boundaries, and different courage. Expect resistance. Growth always triggers reaction from what benefited from your limitation. Some people may subtly question your decisions. Some may call you distant. Others may attempt emotional pressure. Stay grounded. Not every misunderstanding requires explanation. Not every accusation deserves defense. Archangel Michael stands behind you when you choose silence over argument and clarity over chaos. There is also something shifting inside your home. The atmosphere is recalibrating. You may sense tension in the air without visible conflict. The tension is exposure pressing against concealment. Truth wants to breathe. And when truth enters a space, anything built on illusion becomes uncomfortable. Do not fear this process. It is better for discomfort to surface now than for dissection to remain hidden longer. Jesus is reaching you before the unveiling becomes unavoidable. There is mercy in preparation. There is love in warning. You are being positioned ahead of impact. In the coming days, pay attention to your dreams. They may carry symbolic guidance. Pay attention to repeated phrases you hear from different sources. When the same message arrives through multiple channels, it is not coincidence. It is confirmation. You may also notice increased fatigue or unusual restlessness. Spiritual shifts affect the body. Drink water. Rest intentionally. Create quiet moments to reflect. This is not the season to overload yourself with noise. Clarity requires space. And there is one more thing you must understand. The divine tear did not fall because you failed. It fell because you are chosen for more than survival. You are being called into alignment with a purpose that demands focus. Casual living will not sustain what is coming. Distraction will not support elevation. There is an opportunity approaching that connects directly to your deeper calling. It may involve speaking up, stepping forward, accepting responsibility, or walking away from something that once felt essential. When it arrives, you will feel both fear and peace at the same time. That paradox is often the sign of destiny. Archangel Michael will not remove fear entirely, but he will strengthen your resolve so that fear does not control you. This moment is about decision, not dramatic action, not public announcement, but internal agreement. Will you choose alignment even if it costs comfort? Will you choose clarity even if it exposes illusions? Will you trust that the tear was mercy and not threat? The next phase will require steadiness. You cannot move forward while looking backward with longing. You cannot step into light while negotiating with shadows. And remember this carefully. When heaven interrupts your routine, it is because your routine was limiting your reward. Something greater is forming, but it requires your cooperation. Breathe deeply. Stand firm, because what is coming next will reveal why this preparation was necessary, and how a specific door that seemed closed is about to open in a way you did not expect. The shift has already begun. Now your alignment must follow. Steady soul, there is a door in your life that you assumed was permanently closed. You told yourself it was not meant for you. You convinced your heart to stop expecting anything from that direction. But what you did not realize is that the delay was not denial. It was development. The divine tear that fell on May 12th carried restoration within it. Not restoration of old patterns, but restoration of rightful access. Something that was withheld is now being reconsidered in the spirit. A door that did not open before was not locked against you. It was locked for you. Timing is everything in the kingdom of heaven. There were lessons you needed, strength you had to build, discernment you had to sharpen. If that door had opened earlier, you would have stepped into it with the same mindset that kept you limited. But now, something inside you has shifted. You question differently. You observe more carefully. You respond more slowly. That is maturity. Archangel Michael has been stationed near this door for longer than you know, guarding it, ensuring that premature access did not sabotage your destiny. You interpreted the delay as rejection, but it was protection wearing the mask of silence. And now listen closely. When this door begins to open, it will not happen with fireworks. It will start with a small opportunity, a subtle invitation, a conversation that seems casual but carries weight. Do not underestimate small beginnings. Great shifts often enter quietly. You must resist the urge to announce everything immediately. Not every blessing needs public exposure in its early stage. Some things grow stronger in privacy. Let this next development take root before you speak about it widely. There is also a test attached to this opening. When something returns that you once prayed for, you must approach it with your new identity, not your old desperation. Do not chase it. Do not beg it. Do not cling to it. If it is truly aligned, it will meet you halfway. The tear that fell was not about giving you back what hurt you. It was about giving you access to what matches you now. You may notice a sudden shift in your confidence, a clearer voice when you speak, a deeper calm when pressure rises. This is not personality change. This is spiritual reinforcement. Archangel Michael strengthens those who step into alignment. There is also a financial ripple connected to this door. An increase may not come immediately, but stability will. Something that once felt unstable will begin to feel anchored. Pay attention to how you manage what you already have. Stewardship invites expansion. But do not confuse this open door with instant comfort. Growth requires stretching. You will be asked to operate at a higher level of responsibility, to show up consistently, to honor commitments even when excitement fades. Elevation is sustained by discipline. And here is something you must hear clearly. Not everyone will celebrate this new access. Some will smile outwardly but feel unsettled inwardly. When your life begins to align, it reminds others of where they are not aligned. Do not shrink to make others comfortable. Do not dim your progress to preserve someone else's ego. Archangel Michael stands as a shield against envy and subtle sabotage. But you must also guard your own heart. Stay humble. Stay prayerful. Stay grounded. There may also be reconciliation in one area of your life, but it will require honesty. A conversation you avoided may resurface. This time, approach it with truth and calmness. If the relationship is meant to continue, it will strengthen through transparency. If it is not, it will release peacefully. Jesus is reaching you because this season is pivotal. The door opening now is connected to your larger calling. It is not random blessing. It is strategic positioning. You will soon recognize a pattern breaking that once felt permanent. Something that repeated for years will simply stop. No drama. No announcement. It will just end. And you will look back and realize that the tear on May 12th marked the end of that cycle. But do not rush ahead mentally. Stay present. Allow the process to unfold naturally. The next confirmation will come unexpectedly. It may appear as a green light in a situation you thought was impossible. It may appear as sudden favor where resistance once stood. When it happens, do not question it excessively. Receive it with gratitude, because what is being restored now is not random. It is the result of prayers you almost stopped praying. It is the answer forming behind seasons of silence. The tear was not weakness. It was activation. And the door is beginning to move. Stay steady. The next revelation will explain how to protect this opening, and why your consistency in the coming days will determine how wide it swings. The shift is real, and it is only beginning to take visible form. Awake in spirit, now that the door has begun to move. The real test is not whether it will open. It is whether you will remain disciplined enough to walk through it correctly. Many people pray for opportunity, but few prepare their character to sustain it. What is unfolding in your life right now is not temporary favor. It is structural change. The tear that fell on May 12th did more than signal warning and restoration. It authorized advancement. But advancement without structure collapses under pressure. That is why this moment feels both exciting and heavy at the same time. You sense something expanding, yet you also feel the weight of responsibility increasing. This is intentional. Archangel Michael is not only guarding you from external interference, he is also reinforcing your internal stability. Old habits cannot follow you into this new space. Procrastination must be replaced with precision. Emotional reactions must be replaced with discernment. Casual commitment must be replaced with consistency. There is something specific you need to organize. It may involve your schedule, your finances, your living space, or your priorities. Do not delay this adjustment. When heaven signals movement, preparation must follow immediately. Small acts of discipline now will prevent large setbacks later. You may notice that distractions are increasing again. Unexpected interruptions, sudden urges to waste time, emotional triggers trying to pull your focus away. This is not random. Whenever destiny accelerates, distraction intensifies. But you are not the same person you were before May 12th. You are aware now, and awareness is protection. There is also a conversation you need to have with yourself, not with others, within your own heart. Ask honestly, are you ready to release the identity that survived hardship and embrace the identity that carries authority? Survival mode kept you cautious. Authority mode requires boldness. Jesus is reaching you because you are crossing from surviving into leading. Even if your leadership is quiet, even if it is within your home, your workplace, or your circle of influence, it still matters. The shift happening now is elevating your spiritual weight. Archangel Michael responds to those who carry responsibility with integrity. As you choose discipline over distraction, reinforcement will increase around you. Clarity will sharpen. Protection will strengthen. Confidence will stabilize. But here is the truth you must accept. This next level will expose any area where you are still divided. If you are inconsistent, it will become obvious. If you are compromising, it will surface. If you are hesitating out of fear, that fear will be confronted. Not to shame you, but to strengthen you. Here is something you need to complete that you have been postponing. A task, a commitment, a promise. Finish it. Closure creates momentum. Incomplete actions drain spiritual energy. You are being called into alignment not just spiritually, but practically. Order in your natural life supports clarity in your spiritual life. Clean what needs cleaning. Organize what needs organizing. Finalize what needs finalizing. And as you do, you will feel an unusual peace settling in. That peace is confirmation. And now hear this carefully. If this message is strengthening you, do not keep it to yourself. Like this video as a declaration that you are choosing discipline over delay. Share it with someone who is on the edge of breakthrough but needs clarity. Comment with a word aligned if you are ready to walk through your open door with integrity. Subscribe and stand with this channel as we continue exposing darkness and activating destiny together. Your engagement is not small. It multiplies impact and pushes these messages into lives that urgently need them. Stay with this flow, because what is about to be revealed next will address a subtle fear that has been sitting quietly in the back of your mind. You may not speak about it, but it whispers occasionally. What if I fail again? That fear is rooted in memory, not prophecy. Past outcomes do not dictate future authority. You have grown. You have learned. You have been refined. A tear that fell marked transformation, not repetition. Archangel Michael stands between your past and your future, ensuring that old cycles do not sabotage new seasons. But you must step forward without constantly looking backward. Failure is not chasing you. Opportunity is. And opportunity requires courage. In the coming days, you will sense a moment where you must act quickly. Not impulsively, but decisively. Do not hesitate when clarity is present. Delayed obedience weakens momentum. Trust what you have learned. Trust the growth that has taken place within you. Trust that the door opening now is not a trap. It is alignment. The next revelation will expose the final barrier that once held you back and explain why its power over you is dissolving. Stand steady. The foundation is forming beneath your feet. Brave heart. The final barrier that once held you back was never as powerful as it appeared. It survived because you believed it was permanent. It remained because you accepted it as part of your identity. But something shifted on May 12th when that divine tear fell. The agreement you unknowingly made with limitation was quietly broken. The barrier was fear disguised as wisdom. You called it being cautious. You called it being realistic. You called it protecting yourself from disappointment. But in truth, it was a silent ceiling you placed above your own potential. And ceilings only exist until someone decides to look up and challenge them. Jesus is trying to reach you now because you are standing beneath open sky, yet part of you still behaves as if you are confined. That contradiction cannot continue. Expansion requires internal permission. Archangel Michael has already confronted the spiritual resistance that reinforced your fear. The external pressure is weakening. The circumstances that once intimidated you are losing authority. But if your mind remains conditioned by past wounds, you will hesitate even when the path is clear. This is why clarity feels intense right now. You are not being asked to fight anyone. You are being asked to outgrow the version of yourself that expected less. There was a time when you tolerated inconsistency because you feared abandonment. There was a time when you stayed silent because you feared rejection. There was a time when you avoided stepping forward because you feared exposure. But those fears were rooted in seasons where you had not yet discovered your resilience. You survived more than you acknowledge. And survival was never meant to be your permanent identity. The tear that fell marked a promotion in the spirit. Promotion requires confidence. Not arrogance, not pride, but grounded assurance that you are called, equipped, and guarded. There is an internal conversation that must end now. The one that questions your worth. The one that assumes others are more qualified. The one that tells you to shrink in rooms where you belong. Archangel Michael does not stand behind those who shrink from divine assignment. He stands behind those who accept it. Something remarkable is about to happen in a space where you once felt small. You will speak differently. You will carry yourself differently. Others may notice before you do. They may respond to you with new respect. Do not sabotage that shift by downplaying yourself. You are not the insecure version of your past. You are refined. And refinement produces authority. There is also a decision connected to leadership approaching you. It may not carry the title of leadership, but it will require initiative. You may be asked for your opinion more often. You may be placed in situations where others look to you for direction. Do not retreat. This is not coincidence. It is confirmation. The barrier of fear is dissolving because its purpose expired. It once protected you from overwhelming pressure, but now it is blocking necessary growth. And heaven does not allow outdated protection to interfere with future purpose. You may feel moments of nervousness as you step into this new posture. That is normal. Courage is not the absence of nervousness. It is movement despite it. Archangel Michael strengthens those who move. You will soon encounter a situation where your old reaction would have been silence. It's time. Speak. Calmly. Clearly. Without aggression. Watch how the atmosphere shifts when you do. That moment will mark the visible collapse of your internal barrier. There is also healing occurring in your perception. You are beginning to see people more accurately. Not through suspicion, but through discernment. You recognize patterns faster. You sense motives sooner. This awareness is not making you cynical. It is making you wise. And wisdom will guard your next season. The divine tear did not fall to remind you of weakness. It fell to awaken strength. It carried compassion, but it also carried activation. You are stepping into a version of yourself that is less apologetic and more aligned. In the coming days, watch how quickly certain doubts lose their grip. Thoughts that once dominated your mind will fade. Scenarios that once terrified you will seem manageable. This is not self-help. This is spiritual reinforcement. Jesus is reaching you because the window of expansion is open now. If you delay stepping forward, hesitation may attempt to rebuild the barrier. Do not allow that. Move with intention. Act with clarity. Stand with calm confidence. The final barrier was belief, and belief has shifted. The next revelation will uncover how this internal breakthrough connects to an external acceleration that is about to surprise you. Prepare yourself. The sky above you is wider than you imagined. Anointed listener, what is happening now will not only shift your inner world, it is about to accelerate your external reality. The moment your internal barrier collapsed, the atmosphere around you adjusted. Heaven responds quickly when belief aligns with calling. And because you have crossed that invisible line within yourself, movement is beginning outside of you. This acceleration may feel sudden. One day things seem slow, almost stagnant. The next, conversations are moving faster. Decisions are being made quickly. Opportunities are surfacing without long delays. Do not be overwhelmed by this change of pace. You prayed for momentum. This is what answered prayer feels like. A tear that fell on May 12th did not just signal warning and cleansing. It initiated release. Release of favor. Release of clarity. Release of connections that match your next level. When internal fear dissolves, external resistance weakens. Archangel Michael has shifted position again. He is no longer just guarding. He is escorting you into rooms where your name has been discussed positively. Escorting you into moments that were prepared quietly while you were refining privately. You may soon receive unexpected validation. It could come through praise from someone you respect. It could come through recognition for work you thought went unnoticed. It could come through an opportunity that aligns perfectly with your strengths. Receive it without suspicion. This is not a trick. This is alignment. However, the acceleration requires grounding. When things begin moving quickly, it is easy to overcommit. It is easy to say yes to everything. It is easy to stretch beyond capacity in excitement. Resist that urge. Just because doors are opening does not mean every door is yours. Discernment must remain active even during favor. There's also a relational shift happening. Someone who once overlooked you may begin to approach you differently. The power dynamic will feel altered. Do not use this moment to seek revenge or validation. Stay centered. They greyeth. Elevation handled poorly can damage testimony. Archangel Michael strengthens humility in those who are lifted. You are entering a phase where your words carry more weight. What you say will influence outcomes more than before. Be mindful. Speak intentionally. Avoid careless negativity. The atmosphere around you is sensitive to your declarations. There is also a financial or practical improvement approaching. It may not be dramatic at first, but it will signal stability. A bill paid off. A new source of income. A reduction in stress around resources. A sense that provision is no longer uncertain. Acknowledge it. Gratitude multiplies momentum. But hear this clearly. Acceleration will test your focus. Distractions may appear disguised as opportunities. Flattery may attempt to sway your direction. Sudden invitations may compete for your time. Stay aligned with the core assignment that has been forming in you since May 12th. Jesus is reaching you because acceleration without alignment leads to exhaustion. But acceleration with alignment leads to impact. There is something specific you have been called to build or strengthen. It may be a skill, a ministry, a business idea, a leadership role, a personal transformation. This is the time to invest in it seriously. Do not treat your calling casually while expecting extraordinary results. Archangel Michael stands beside those who treat purpose with respect. In the coming days, you will notice that obstacles which once slowed you are no longer as heavy. Delays will shorten. Responses will arrive quick. Decisions that once lingered will finalize. This is confirmation that movement has begun. And yet, do not rush ahead of grace. Move at the speed of peace. If something feels forced, pause. If something feels aligned, proceed. Peace is your indicator now. There will also be a moment of quiet reflection where you realize how far you have come. You will compare your current mindset to who you were months ago. The difference will be undeniable. That recognition is not pride. It is gratitude for growth. The tear that fell was never about ending you. It was about elevating you. Now listen carefully. Attention to the type attention. Not all attention is pure. Protect your private life. Guard your plans. Share selectively. Not everyone needs access to your strategy. Some people are meant to witness the outcome, not the process. Archangel Michael shields what you choose to guard wisely. If this message confirms what you are already sensing in your spirit, respond boldly. Type "I move with divine momentum" in the comments if you receive this acceleration. Blessing code 8831 has just been released over those stepping into aligned expansion. And as this momentum increases, understand something sacred. When you sow into what feeds your spirit, you water the very ground that is producing your harvest. The Lord says, "Give, and it shall be given unto you, pressed down, shaken together, and running over." This is not about obligation. It is about partnership in purpose. I speak directly to you now. When you release your support through Super Thanks, membership, or the PayPal link in the description, you are placing fuel on a fire that awakens souls across nations. You are becoming a co-laborer in light. Do not delay when your spirit feels the nudge. Act in faith. Sow with expectation. Stand as a pillar in this mission. Activate your seed and watch heaven respond with multiplied favor. Steadfast one, as acceleration unfolds around you, there is a deeper layer that must now be understood. Movement is visible, yes. Opportunities are forming. Confidence is stabilizing. But beneath all of that, something even more profound is taking place. Your spiritual authority is increasing. This is not about control over others. It is about influence in the unseen realm. The tear that fell on May 12th did not only cleanse and activate. It marked you as attentive. And heaven entrusts influence to those who listen. Because you responded instead of ignoring. Because you leaned in instead of scrolling away from conviction. Your spiritual sensitivity has sharpened. You may begin noticing that when you pray, results feel closer. When you speak encouragement to someone, it impacts them more deeply. When you sense something is wrong, you are proven right more often. This is not coincidence. It is the evidence of authority growing quietly. Archangel Michael does not simply guard the chosen. He reinforces those who operate with integrity. Your decisions over the past days have signaled maturity. You chose discipline over distraction. You chose courage over comfort. You chose alignment over approval. And those choices carry weight in the spirit. However, increased authority brings increased testing. There will be a moment where someone attempts to provoke you. It may be subtle. a dismissive comment, a sarcastic tone, an attempt to undermine your progress. In the past, you may have reacted quickly. This time, pause. Authority is not proven through volume. It is proven through composure. When you refuse to engage in unnecessary conflict, you demonstrate strength. Here is also a spiritual contrast becoming clearer. You are beginning to feel the difference between environments that drain you and those that strengthen you. Pay attention to that sensitivity. It is not overreaction. It is discernment. You may walk into a room and instantly sense heaviness. You may enter another space and feel unexpected peace. Trust those signals. Archangel Michael sharpens awareness in those who are positioned for impact. There is something else happening quietly. People are observing you, not in envy alone, but in curiosity. They see a steadiness that was not there before. They notice that you respond differently under pressure. They sense that something about you has shifted. Some will be inspired. Others may feel unsettled. Both reactions are signs of growth. Do not shrink your light to make others comfortable. Light was never meant to apologize for shining. At the same time, guard humility carefully. Authority must remain anchored in compassion. Remember where you came from. Remember the nights you felt uncertain. That memory will keep your heart soft even as your presence becomes stronger. There is also a responsibility emerging. Someone close to you may soon need guidance. They may not ask directly. They may hint. They may vent casually. Listen closely. Your words in that moment will carry on you. You will wait. Speak life. Speak clarity. Speak hope, grounded in truth. The tear that fell was never only about you. It was about those connected to you. Your alignment is influencing others more than you realize. In the coming days, you may face a choice between immediate gratification and long-term stability. The offer may look appealing. The shortcut may seem harmless. But ask yourself whether it aligns with who you are becoming. Temporary gain is not worth permanent compromise. Archangel Michael strengthens those who reject shortcuts. There is also a deep, inner peace forming beneath the surface of your thoughts. It may not remove all stress, but it stabilizes you during it. This peace is not dependent on circumstances. It is anchored in identity. You are no longer questioning whether you are seen by heaven. You know you are. That knowing changes everything. Jesus reached you not to control you, but to confirm you. To remind you that your life is not drifting randomly. It is directed intentionally. Even the delays serve a purpose. Even the struggles refine something necessary. And now, you stand in a space of clarity that once felt unreachable. Do not waste this clarity. Protect your time. Guard your focus. Continue choosing alignment daily, not just emotionally in powerful moments. There will soon be a visible confirmation that your authority has increased. It may be a resolved conflict that once seemed impossible. It may be a breakthrough in communication. It may be a door opening without resistance. When it happens, remember this moment. Remember that it began with attention. A tear fell. You listened. Authority grew. And what is coming next will reveal the final layer of this message. Why the urgency was necessary and how your obedience has already prevented something you may never fully see. Stay grounded. The unfolding is not finished. Watchful soul, the urgency that surrounded May 12th was not exaggerated. It was precise. There was something forming behind the scenes that you were not meant to collide with. A misstep that could have delayed you for months. A decision that could have entangled you in unnecessary struggle. A conversation that might have shifted your direction subtly but significantly. you will likely never see the full picture of what was prevented. And that is the mercy. The tear that fell carried both warning and interception. While you were becoming aware, Archangel Michael was actively redirecting circumstances. A plan that did not align with your future lost momentum. A connection that might have drained you weakened. A situation that could have escalated dissolved quietly. You may have noticed something recently that seemed to fall apart without clear reason. A meeting canceled. A proposal delayed. A person withdrawing unexpectedly. At first, it may have confused you, but now, you can see it differently. What felt like inconvenience was intervention. Heaven does not always announce protection. Sometimes it simply rearranges outcomes. This is why your obedience and staying attentive mattered. When you resisted distraction and leaned into awareness, you aligned yourself with that protection. Had you ignored the prompting, had you chosen impulse over discernment, you might have walked directly into something heavy. Instead, you were repositioned. There is a deep gratitude forming within you now. Not loud or emotional, but steady. A realization that you are being guided more closely than you assumed. That your life is not exposed to chaos without covering. Archangel Michael does not hover without purpose. His presence around your season signaled that stakes were higher than you knew. But now that the critical moment has passed, you can move forward without the same pressure. Still, do not become careless. Protection is strongest when awareness remains active. There will be another opportunity approaching you soon. It will look clean. You will feel stable. And this time, it will align clearly with your direction. The difference between what was prevented and what is coming will be obvious in your spirit. One felt rushed. The other feels grounded. Trust that distinction. There is also healing happening in your confidence. You may look back at past decisions that led to regret and feel a new understanding. You were not foolish. You were inexperienced. Growth required those lessons. But now, wisdom has replaced uncertainty, and wisdom changes outcomes. You are stepping into a phase where your choices carry long-term impact. Not because you are under pressure, but because you are positioned for influence. What you build now will have stability if you continue moving with clarity. Do not rush to prove yourself. Do not feel the need to announce your growth. Let your results speak. If this message has confirmed something you sense but could not articulate, respond intentionally. Like this video as a declaration that you recognize divine protection over your life. Share it with someone who feels confused about a recent setback. They may need to hear that it was intervention. Comment with a word guarded if you understand now that what fell apart may have saved you. Subscribe and stand connected to this channel as we continue walking through clarity, protection, and purpose together. Your engagement pushes these messages further than you realize. And stay with this flow, because what comes next will uncover the final layer of this journey. There is a reason the message carried such intensity. There is a reason you felt urgency in your spirit. It was not only about prevention. It was about preparation. The season ahead of you requires stability. The door that is opening will demand maturity. The influence you are stepping into cannot coexist with chaos. That is why distraction was confronted. That is why fear was dismantled. That is why acceleration was calibrated carefully. Everything that happened since May 12th hath been intentional. You are not merely protected from harm. You are being prepared for responsibility. And responsibility is honor. In the coming days, you may sense a calm unlike anything you have felt recently. A steadiness that confirms the storm has passed. Do not mistake calm for inactivity. It is the quiet strength before sustained progress. Jesus reached you urgently because the timeline was sensitive. But now that alignment has occurred, urgency transitions into stability. You are not racing anymore. You are building. And what is about to be revealed next will explain how this entire sequence connects to a larger calling that extends beyond your immediate circumstances. Remain attentive. The final revelation is approaching. Patient warrior, now you are ready to understand the larger calling that has been forming beneath every warning, every shift, every acceleration. None of this was random. None of it was emotional exaggeration. The urgency, the tear, the intervention, the protection, all of it had been preparing you for influence that extends beyond your personal comfort. This was never only about saving you from a mistake. It was about shaping you into a stabilizer for others. There is a role you are stepping into that carries weight. It may not have a public title. It may not come with applause, but it will carry spiritual impact. You are becoming someone others will lean on when their clarity fails. Someone who can remain calm when others panic. Someone who discerns quietly while chaos tries to spread. That kind of influence cannot be developed casually. It must be refined through pressure. A tear that fell on May 12th marked the beginning of refinement. Every layer since then has strengthened your internal foundation. Fear confronted. Discipline activated. Acceleration managed. Protection confirmed. Authority increased. All of it building toward this. Stability under responsibility. Archangel Michael's presence around your season was not just about guarding you from harm. It was about fortifying you for leadership in unseen ways. When spiritual weight increases, reinforcement must increase also. You may already notice that people open up to you more easily now. They trust your perspective. They ask for your advice. They sense steadiness in you. This is not accidental. You carry an atmosphere of clarity because you chose alignment. But influence also attracts challenge. There will be moments when others project their insecurity onto you. When your calm presence irritates someone who thrives on chaos. When your boundaries offend those who benefited from your flexibility. Do not interpret this as failure. It is confirmation that you are no longer operating at the same frequency. Remain grounded. Do not respond with pride. Do not respond with defensiveness. Simply remain steady. There is also a deeper dimension unfolding. Your calling extends beyond immediate relationships. There is something creative, strategic, or visionary stirring inside you. An idea you keep revisiting. A dream you once dismissed. A path that seemed unrealistic before. That stirring is not imagination. It is assignment. The reason urgency surrounded this message is because hesitation would have delayed this larger activation. If you had remained distracted, fearful, or entangled in misaligned commitments, you would not have had the capacity to carry what is forming now. Capacity is everything. Heaven does not pour influence into unstable containers. You have been stabilized. Now expansion becomes sustainable. In the coming days, you may receive confirmation about this larger calling. It may arrive through an unexpected opportunity, a sudden idea that refuses to fade, a conversation that opens a new possibility. When it comes, do not dismiss it as coincidence. Lean into it carefully. Pray about it deeply. Move with discernment. Archangel Michael's reinforcement will remain as long as you continue operating with integrity. But remember, reinforcement is not a substitute for effort. You must show up. You must invest time. You must develop skill. Spiritual activation does not remove practical responsibility. There will also be a moment of reflection where you realize that the intensity you felt earlier has transformed into clarity. The urgency that once pressed you now feels like direction. That is how you know alignment has occurred. You are no longer reacting. You are responding. The tear was mercy. The warning was protection. The acceleration was positioning. The authority was preparation. And now the larger calling begins to surface. Do not rush it. Do not broadcast it prematurely. Let it grow in wisdom. You may encounter one final test of distraction. Something designed to pull your attention back to smaller conflicts. Resist it. Your focus must remain forward. Jesus reached you because your timeline matters. Not only for your sake, but for those who will be influenced by your obedience. The stability you now carry will ripple into other lives. In quiet moments, you may feel a deep sense of responsibility. Do not let it overwhelm you. Responsibility accompanied by grace becomes purpose. You are not alone in this. You are reinforced. And as we approach the final layer of this message, you will see clearly why everything unfolded the way it did, and how your response has already altered the course of your future in ways you may only fully understand later. Stay attentive. The final revelation is near. Faithful child of destiny, this is where everything comes together. The urgency you felt was real. The warning carrying weight. The tear that fell on May 12th was not symbolic emotion. It was a divine interruption that altered your timeline. And now you can see it clearly. You were being redirected, refined, and reinforced all at once. What could have delayed you was dissolved. What could have distracted you was exposed. What could have discouraged you was dismantled. And what remains now is alignment. The reason this message carried such intensity is because your obedience had to happen within a narrow window. There are moments in life when heaven whispers gently over long seasons. And then there are moments when heaven moves quickly because the intersection ahead is critical. You were at that intersection. One path would have kept you comfortable but confined. The other required courage but led to expansion. When the tear fell, it activated urgency so that you would not drift into the wrong lane out of habit. And you listened. That is the difference. Many feel warnings and ignore them. Many sense shifts and scroll past them. Many recognize divine nudges and postpone obedience. But you paused. You paid attention. You allowed yourself to be corrected, strengthened, and repositioned. Because of that, something you may never fully see has already changed. A delay was prevented. A misalignment was avoided. A cycle was broken. Archangel Michael's assignment around your life during this season was strategic. He stood at the gates of your next level and refused access to what would have weakened you. He guarded conversations you did not hear. He disrupted plans you did not know existed. He reinforced your spirit when doubt tried to return. You were never alone in this process. Now the atmosphere around you feels different. Not intense, not urgent, but steady, stable, clear. That steadiness is the evidence that the storm has passed and structure remains. The door before you now is not fragile. It is prepared. The calling ahead of you is not chaotic. It is calibrated. The responsibility forming in your hands is not random. It is earned through refinement. And this is the final truth you must carry forward. The tear that fell was not about loss. It was about love. It was about heaven refusing to let you walk blindly into something beneath your destiny. You are not behind. You are not forgotten. You are not drifting. You are directed. From this point forward, move with confidence but remain humble. Speak with clarity but remain gentle. Build with discipline but remain prayerful. Influence will grow naturally if integrity stays intact. When you look back months from now, you will recognize this moment as the turning point. A moment urgency became alignment. A moment fear dissolved into authority. A moment distraction lost its grip. Do not minimize what happened here. Seely, if you receive this fully, type "I accept my divine alignment" in the comments. Blessing code 9907 has just been released over those who step boldly into their prepared future. And now hear me carefully. The tear that fell was not only for you. It was for every soul who almost missed their turning point. When you choose to support this mission through Super Thanks, membership, or the PayPal link in the description, you are not giving to a channel, you are fueling rescue. The Lord declares, those who water others will themselves be watered. This is living seed, and I speak directly to you. I choose to stand in this harvest. As you sow into this work, you become a carrier of light in moments where urgency must reach someone before it is too late. This is prophetic action, not casual donation. Move now. Activate your support. Release your seed and watch heaven multiply it back into your life with protection, favor, and open doors. The message has been delivered. The alignment has begun. Walk forward. You are ready.